Chapter 12. The Curse of the Butts Empire. This chapter is from the point of view of Alan Cook. We arrived within the Gramina Galaxy and found the planet of Butramer. Can they see us? I asked Lisa. No. The planet is heavily armed. It has a lot of underground weapons. They have hundreds of satellites in high and mid-orbit, and they all do not see us. There are 8 military space stations. There are also at least 1 military station in every planet in this solar system. Population of the planet is 5 million, 80% are military, and the rest serve the Emperor and his wife. Lisa said, I called my commanders and I want to allot 180 ships to cover the 12 sectors of the Empire. I want you to learn and study everything about this empire. I also want you to tag the leaders if possible, all the way down to senior level leaders in government and military including their families. No contact, nothing whatsoever. They should never find out we are even there. I want all the ships to park in gas planets, low signatures on anything as possible. I want you to thoroughly investigate our targets. We did not make our move until after 4 weeks of data gathering and tagging. The amount of data was staggering considering they had 12 sectors, each sector about 20 solar systems, and with about 5 to 8 planets or moons occupied in this solar systems. Their total population is about 6 trillion people with about 1.2 billion in their military. We went through their history, technology, politics, social structures, and everyday lives. And we felt we had only learned 10% of the information. But that was enough for the moment so we can execute our plan to meet with the Emperor. We found out that the Emperor had 4 children, 2 females and 2 males. 1 female and 1 male were married. Only 2 of the children, the married ones, perform as sub-emperors. The rest of the sub-emperors were either the Emperor's military buddies, about 6, and the other 4 were really good leaders who rose the ranks. We also found out that the 6 military sub-emperors were planning a coup against the Emperor with the help of one of the non-military sub-emperor. It has been in the planning for more than 5 years, and this was part of the reason why the AIs of the various sectors are separated. Except for the 7. Their problem was their military. Most of the logistics and military hardware come from the sectors the son and daughter rule. They instituted a lot of corruption to be able to secure the hardware from the 2 sectors. But this corruption also messed up their own military since it institutionalized this mindset among the military leaders. They ended up with an incapable and corrupt military. They were not sure if they can fight a war with the Emperor and win. Boss the Emperor and Queen are having dinner with their 2 unmarried children. Sherry said, I suggest we TP down on this side of the table. Julio said, why don't we just wait a bit for them to finish eating? I think it's just rude. I said, and I want Rocco and Soren to join us. It took a while until Soren arrived. Rocco was quick and appeared overly excited. The royal family has already finished eating. Now they were arguing about the son who has not married yet, but they were not arguing why the daughter who was the eldest has not married yet. Lisa reminded us. The Emperor's name is Mortam, but his first name is Bidig, the Queen's name is Luli, the daughter Miran and son Jenny. Be courteous all the time. Greetings Emperor Bidig Mortam. I greeted in Butts language. 5 of us appeared a few feet from the table. The family was surprised. You know my first name? Do I know you? Bidig asked. No, we have never met. I then introduced myself and the gang. Strange names, Luli said. Why are you here? Bidig asked. We are here to thoroughly investigate your empire. I said. Why do you want to investigate thoroughly yet? Bidig asked. As investigators, so we can know and understand. Sherry answered. Why then involve me? Why are you here talking to me if you just want to thoroughly investigate? Bidig asked. Can't you do that on your own? No, you are the final piece to the puzzle. Julio said. What puzzle? Bidig asked. Why your empire is this way? Julio answered this time. We are the largest empire in the galaxy. It is the way we are. Bidig said proudly. What we mean is, why are your sub-emperors planning a coup against you, and why is there so much oppression in your empire? I don't think you have investigated properly. Nobody wants to go against me and my family. And I get weekly reports of how our people are content and happy. We will show you in a hologram scenes of your sub-emperors plotting against you. They call themselves the Gramana Guild. We will also show you scenes of misery among your people, especially the smaller alien groups. We actually had to open 2 holograms at one end of the table and another 2 at the other end. After a few minutes, this is impossible. Bidik said. How did you even get this holograms? Miran asked. We can show you. We will bring you to their meetings and you can see for yourself. We can bring you to see your people too. They will not see us because we will be invisible. So that's how you investigate, you're all invisible. Jenny commented. Yes, our invisible ships in space provide scans and our invisible drones flying around to get the events. I want to accompany you, Father. Miran said. Me also. Jenny said. Lisa appeared. Alan, none of the sub-emperors are meeting right now. We can show them the state of the people. I will TP you to several places, all in different planets in the area. I nodded. Are you ready, Bidik? Bidik nodded. And Lisa, please. First, we found ourselves in an underground sewer system where several families live. Then Lisa sent us to a farming community where even the animals were malnourished. Then we showed them communities where the houses looked old and battered, the vehicles all old and battered, and buildings all old and battered. Then we went to a family where only the kids were eating while the parents were simply drinking their water while standing. The house had nothing, not even a bed. The parents were haggard looking and the kids wore tattered clothes. Stop, I want to go home. Bidik said. Alan, the sub-emperors will meet in a few minutes. We can go there now. Lisa said. Bidik heard Lisa and, okay, let me see. The meeting had not started yet, but Bidik could see his best friend, Rimmel, having a drink with Connie, another sub-emperor. I think we should postpone our plans until next year. I am having money problems. Connie said. I think you just have too many wives. If you spend less, your military will be better off. Rimmel countered. My military is not prepared to go to war with the Emperor even if I have the money to do so. Connie argued. Noma, another sub-emperor, started the meeting. Okay, to date we have 30,000 ships compared to the Emperor's 4,000. We have 20 billion soldiers directly under the guild. I know Connie's concern about our fighting capabilities, but our sheer number is in itself a capability. I suggest we start with top-level assassination all the way to the senior military leadership. This way it would be hard for them to reorganize and to know who is who. Rimmel said. That's a classic given, but we have to decide on the timing. Noma added. How about on the Queen's anniversary? This way all the family and major leaders are in the planet, and we can just rain several hundred megahead bombs on the planet. That's 2 months from now. I think it's too soon. Conveying the timetable alone is hard enough, but conveying a whole battle plan and operation stages to our people would be very hard. Noma said. I have heard enough. Miran, Jenny, you can stay and listen some more if you want. Let's go back to my house. You don't have to stay, we are recording all their meetings including this. Sherry told Miran, and Miran nodded. Back at the palace, the Emperor moved us to his private office. He sat behind a huge table and Miran and Jenny stood beside him. We all stood in front of the table. Lisa stood by me also. Please sit. Bidik gestured. You knew about these already. Thank you for showing me. Bidik said. What do you want? Do you want payment for your investigation or say a piece of the empire? Miran asked. We are just investigators. We do not seek any payment, just information and knowledge. Sherry said. Roko, what will the Emperor do? I asked, whispering. With what? Roko asked, and I can really feel my hand shaking, wanting to touch his face. With the errant sub-emperors? I said, still whispering with a smile. The Emperor will call them to the palace and kill them in front of their families and generals. He will ask the media to broadcast the event and will ask his eldest son and Miran to do the act together with him. I can hear that. But I will ask my wife to act with us since there are 7 of them. Also, my guards will imprison all their families and generals and their families. Biddick said. After we kill our enemies, will you leave the galaxies? Miran asked. Not until we get another mission statement of what our council would want us to do. I said. I want to meet your council. Biddick said. That would not be possible. We are very secretive. In fact, we would ask you to promise that none of our actions be mentioned in any of your communications. That we never existed. If you want to do anything with us, it would have to be done in secret. Julio said. Why all the secrecy? Now I want to know more. Miran said. It's one of our primary directives. I said. Can you give me and my dad a tour of your ships? Miran asked. Yes, I authorize it. I said and looked at Lisa. We first toured Sherry's ship, explaining that it's our science ship, then toured them to my ship. Along the way they asked about our fighting capabilities, weapons, and numbers. They asked about the Lunis and Leos, and we explained to them our relationship with these guys. Tell me, Alan, if you went to war with my empire, how will you win? Biddick asked. It took us a month to tag all the people we need to tag. It will take us a week to tag all your ships and equipment. Then in 1 or 2 days, we will transfer all the tagged people to one planet, all naked, and all the equipment in one planet so far from your empire. We will win the war without you even knowing that we were there. We will end up with all your ships, all your war equipment and weapons. Tell me, how will you go to war if you do not have weapons, ships, or people? And who are you going to war with? You don't even know or even see us. I said. I guess you are not as powerful as you think, Father. Miran said. I know what you want, Miran. Rocco said. Alan, she wants to join your armada. Biddick said. And we will allow it. You just have to bring your scientists and military people with you to join us, say 10,000 total. I said. We want to learn and understand more about the information and data we have gathered. Sherry said to Miran. Of course, your people will learn our ways as well. I said. Father, I will ask Jenny to be your assistant. I will take 5,000 of the top royal guards and 5,000 of our smartest people with me. I will work on this immediately. What can I say? Can I stop you? Biddick asked. No, I am doing this for the good of our people. Miran said. After the anti-coup event, we will leave 5 ships in your galaxy to train your people, to let our people continue to learn about you and your people, and to provide you with the ability to teleport invisible or not to any place within 50 MLY in your empire. You mentioned you have TP ships that go all the way back to your home world. Miran started. Yes, we do. Sherry answered. I know what you want us to do. Yes, we will take your enemy's ships and use them as TP ships as we travel the galaxies. But we will only take the big ones, numbering maybe 4,000 ships. I said. I guess you read my mind. But will you do it before or after the anti-coup? Miran asked. Right after. As I said, it will take us 2 days. If we start tagging your ships and weapons now, we will finish in a week. I said. Good. So, it's a plan then. Biddick said. It's part of the investigation process. We want to investigate the ships and weapons they have. I reasoned. Our only request is that you take all their ships, all sizes, and the TP ships be deployed in our galaxies first before you bring them all the way to your home world or anywhere you may want to go. Miran said. Where we want to go? Julio corrected. Yes. Miran agreed. In the next 2 weeks, we proceeded to tag all their ships and weapons, all the ship personnel and some ground personnel. We tagged even the ships under repair or in construction. We tagged all their enemy transport ships, and we emptied a space station and the Leos made it invisible. Biddick, Jenny, and Miran were all over the place. They even went with our taggers and infiltrators and did tagging themselves. Biddick enjoyed himself doing it. He was impressed that our people did their jobs professionally and efficiently. Jenny was more interested in hacking and infiltration, so he went with these groups more. Miran was very useful in identifying the target logistics, weapons, military equipment, and factory equipment. After 2 weeks, the emperor called all his sub-emperors, their families, and top military leaders and their families to the palace. He sent out word that Miran is getting engaged, thus the celebration. It was a gory event. Biddick had the 7 sub-emperors kneel while the crowd were restricted by 3 levels of palace guards several meters away. Miran, Jenny, and Biddick were holding 2 guns each pointed at the head of the sub-emperors. Luli was holding a gun at Rumil, but at a distance. Without saying a word, just a nod to Miran and Jenny, the 6 had their heads blown off. Luli hesitated, so Biddick shot the guy himself. 2 of the sub-emperors' bodies remained kneeling but headless. Biddick and his family left the royal palace room without saying a word. We teleported them to the bridge. I want to see their communications, I said, and Biddick just watched. Lisa produced several dozen holos of people talking to other people. Then these people talking to other people. Since we know who the collaborators were, any call to a collaborator is traced longer than the rest. Why are you quiet, father? Miran asked her father. I feel sad, betrayed. I feel stupid thinking that I leave the empire to my friends and not be bothered. Jenny will help you, Miran said. Yes, I will work with your brother to manage the empire better. I feel so bad about our people. All along I thought I was doing good. But my people spent the money not for the people but on their plan to go to war with me. I want to apologize to our people. Talk to them tomorrow, Miran said. It's lunchtime, let's go to our mess hall and get something to eat, I suggested. Miran picked up the idea. Father, let's go eat. She held her father and mother's arms and led them to the mess hall. At the mess hall, Father, I want to launch an investigation further down the line in the colonies. I want to know the extent of the infestation of the sub-emperors and the hardship that they caused on our people. I know you feel really bad, Father, but we have to investigate this thoroughly and understand how best we can fix the problem, Jenny said. We can allocate 12 ships for that, on top of the 5 here, I said. We can also allocate 24 of our own TP ships to connect those ships to each other, Julio added. Sometimes it amazes me how you guys come over here at the exact time to help with our problems, Biddick commented, looking at Sherry. A mission statement told us to come over and investigate thoroughly what is happening. And we did and found some issues. We decided to tell you because we do not want to cause evil to win, Sherry answered. But how did those that issued the mission statement know? Biddick countered. Maybe they don't, I said. They know, Rocco answered. But they trust you guys will decide as you did and help out. I have a question, Rocco. You are the only one of your kind to be in this ship, Miran started. I know. Why did I decide to join them? Yes. Why? I have no other place to be, everybody hates me, and besides, the Armada would be doing such incredible things. And now you're with us, you will find this out yourself, Rocco answered. Don't think for once, Rocco, that I do not dislike you, Sherry said. I know, you are just very kind people, much kinder than the kindest of my kind. It was balanced kindness that we showed your people, but to you it is the very kind variety, I said. And besides, you're a funny guy, Julio commented. Father, I will take Jamo as my second in command as I go around and investigate. I will try to fix what I can if it does not involve too much time before I come out with a plan, Jenny said. Yes, I trust you, Biddick said. I wanted to take Jamo, Miran complained. Just take his assistant Lopin. He's good too, Biddick said. After a week we toured the planet where we teleported all the ships and equipment, this time with Jamo and Lopin. I am surprised that they have these much ships and those weapons on that hill is new to me, Biddick commented. Where are the big ships? Miran asked. They are already being deployed as TP ships, Sherry answered. All the money they spent on these. Down the drain. When it should have made our people prosper. I think I am beginning to get angry. Jenny remarked. Miran, look around, we have drones following us and these tour will document the waste they have precious money on. Sherry said. Good. I want my people to know. Jenny commented this time. I want to put a metal recycling plant so we can use the scraps here to build things. Biddick said. We can teach you how to build our ships and learn technologies to build our weapons. I said. That would make us the closest friends we have in all the galaxies. Miran said. No, Miran, we are brothers and sisters in arms, we fight and die together in the Armada. I said. After what happened, I feel that way too. We are brothers and sisters in arms. Biddick said. Absolutely correct, Father. Miran agreed. 2 of the 5 ships are science and research ships, and their main task is to develop new military use for the new technologies we learn in our travels. I want to ask that you assign scientists with our scientists as well. Sherry explained. Yes, to develop new and better weapons for our military. Jenny said. One of the things the sub-emperors caused was the stagnation of science and technology. Julio started. The brightest mind among your people simply avoided working for the sub-emperors and their minions to make them richer. They moved to those galaxies where the sub-emperors do not control. But these were not as rich. I understand, and I will look for these people. Jenny said. Also, we have requested our council to send at least 100 ship engines for 100 of your biggest ships. We realized they were built good enough at a size twice bigger than our ships and they will not fall apart at the speeds we fly in. We plan to change their engines into ours so some of your people can join us in our adventures. We can leave 50 ships with Jenny and the 50 will work under Miran in the Armada. I explained. I was wondering how I can have more of my people in the Armada. I guess you are thinking ahead. Miran said. We will train your people in our style of warfare. Julio said. You know, Alan, I think this meat will be my new favorite. Biddick said. And this brandy is mine. Jenny said. Say no more, I will order those, and they will arrive through the TP system in a week or so. Sherry said. If you can do that, maybe we should start talking about trade and cultural exchange. Jenny said. Of course, but these things take time to develop. I agree, send some of your people to study our part of the galaxies for future trade opportunities. I will just have some of our people to accompany them so they won't get lost, and people will treat them properly. I said. It took a few days for Jenny to position the 12 ships in the sub-emperor areas. In one of the areas under Rumel, which was the furthest out in the galaxy, our people realized a huge drop in the population of 3 planets. One planet had 540 million people, now it has 10 million. The second planet had 360 million people, but now only has 8 million people. The third planet had 200 million people, now it's abandoned. Jenny went on to go to these planets to personally investigate. I just asked Rocco what happened. A species called Banastablanet took them all as slaves. How is it possible that these bands can just come in and take them? Were there no military to defend the people? Rocco stayed quiet. They were in collusion with the sub-emperor. I said. Yes, and the deal was that the sub-emperor gets more money and would be left alone. Rocco explained. We need to investigate this thoroughly. I said. I summoned my commanders and Miran to a meeting at my mission room. I also asked Jenny to attend. I also ordered my people to inventory the population and see where there may be similar drops in population but maybe not as pronounced. At the mission room, we need to investigate something thoroughly. I started. Wait, that was our first mission. Sherry pointed out. Maybe we have not investigated fully what we need to investigate thoroughly. Julio countered. Okay, let's not get confused here. We are conducting an ongoing investigation. And we found out that the people who disappeared were abducted by a species called Banastablanet or Bands. These species come from another galaxy entirely, and they got the populace forcefully to turn them into slaves in their home world. We are talking about 1.1 billion people from 3 planets. Alan, if what you say is true, we could be looking at several species being enslaved by these bands and that several other planets have been infiltrated as a future source of slaves. This will be a huge operation. Soren said. I would suggest we send out scouts to see the lay of the land and to find where these bands are located. Julio said. If you interrogate the assistants of the sub-emperors, those that are involved with money, you will find where these bands are and where the infiltration is happening. I said. I did not tell them that we could just ask Rocco. We need numbers. We need to understand what we are dealing with. I can assign 5 ships as scouts, and they can leave within a few hours. Julio said. Soren, I want your EXO Captain Bautista to be the lead on this mission. I know he used to be with intelligence. Soren nodded and Bautista put the thumbs up. I want my people to go with your people. Miran said. We will be deploying TP ships along the scout paths, so we have a direct link to them. Sherry said. Also, we cannot move until the 100 ships have their new engines broken in. Sherry added. Miran, I want your top scientists to go to the Looney homeworld to look at our military-industrial complex so they can learn so we can start the manufacture of things the Armada and Ginny's military needs. This will take several months to do, so we better start now. Can I go with them? Biddick asked. I did not notice you come in. I said. But you can go and bring some of your delegates to meet our people. Remember, this will be a clandestine trip for you. Nobody should know except for a very few people. I will tell you who before you leave. I think we should not rush the response to this threat. Julio said. I agree, we should not rush a response. We will prepare and we will investigate fully what is upon us. Miran said. Jenny, I trust that you be the emperor when I'm gone. Biddick said and Jenny nodded. The next 2 months were extremely busy months. We found out after a week that 20 planets also had a drop in population and the amount of people was more than 2 billion lost. These planets were all under the executed sub-emperors. Jenny and Miran and their siblings were fuming mad. When word got around, the people were agitated, to say the least. There were protests and riots. The citizens tried to organize a rescue. Miran had to stop them. We heard from Captain Sebastian Bautista, the Spaniard, on the 3rd week. He appeared as a hollow at my bridge. We were all present. Sir, the bands have 210 planets, population 800 billion. They have below average military, no cloaking technology, the speed is 10% our speed, they have plasma and that's their strongest weapon. They have 2 million transport ships, 100,000 military ships half our size, 200 million in the military. We tried to look for our people and there were none. They were all eaten. They are organized as a federation with 4 different alien groups, but one is the biggest with 60% of the planets. All these alien groups ate our people. Bautista reported. They ate 3 billion of my people. Miran shouted. Jenny kept his cool and you could see his anger in his eyes. Our people. I said. When you joined the Armada, and your people joined the Scouts, your people became Armada people, and your people are now our people. I said. I saw Rocco's demeanor change, and his eyes show anger and pain. Later he told me that he knew all along but could not believe it and hoped he was wrong. Sebastian, I want you to tag all the ships, military, and transport, small or big. I also want you to tag all the people in these ships. I said. Sir, I need more taggers. Bautista said. I will send all our available ships to you, maybe 60 ships under Soren. Soren, you take lead on this operation. I will have the extra people come over through the TP line. Miran, are your people ready? I asked. Ready and angry. I can send 300,000 under Lopen with Soren. Miran said. That will work. I will divide their home world into grids that we can work on systematically. Bautista said. Very good, Captain. Tell Lisa whatever else you need. I said. We were expecting Soren to finish in a month, but it took them more than 2 months to finish. By this time things have calmed down. The anger had gone down quietly, but I felt it was still there. By this time Biddick has returned. The loonies have sent us thousands of drone probes, and we distributed these among all the band's planets. Also, by this time the 100 ships have been upgraded with the new engines and were positioned 40 MLY away from the band main planet areas. It was now a waiting game. The Armada were watching, investigating, and planning all the possible encounters with the bands. We found out that the Federation considers the Emperor as weak and can be easily overthrown by the sub-emperors. They also see the Empire as corruptible, backward, and highly divided and fractious. That if they raid one of the planet, they can get away with it because the people simply do not care. Biddig and his kids together with the Armada have decided to talk to their Federation. Biddig will be the only person who will front for us. He announced his intention to meet with the Federation leaders by sending them one small ship under Lopin. They did not deliberate much and just scheduled the meeting in a week's time. By this time, Jenny has finished hacking the band systems in their major planets. We found out in their data systems that they also ate 2 other species, one of which was almost wiped out. Our scientists came out with several viruses that will be unleashed at certain events, which will ensure that their systems will always be under our operators. We deliberated before the meeting the final outcome that we want. I wanted to get all their ships, military and transport, and allow only small interplanetary vessels, but none that can travel long distances. This was my minimum. We all agreed on this very easily. We also agreed on delivering the first virus to cripple their data systems, rendering it useless for at least a year. We also agreed to ban trade with any other species and basic interspecies travel. This embargo will last for 100 years. Biddig wants to imprison the Federation leaders for war crimes. I agreed with him, but Miran and her siblings did not. They want them assassinated. In the end, Biddig got his way. We also made sure that he appear only as a hollow for safety reasons. We also requested that the meeting be broadcasted in all the band planets and the Butts Empire. Miran also suggested creating several metal recycling plants in the planet where we will TP their ships so we can benefit from their trash. Lopin was standing quietly beside the podium with 2 other Butts, where the bands expect Biddig to talk. It was almost the appointed time and Biddig was nowhere to be found. The bands were complaining that Biddig is late. But right on time, Biddig appeared behind the podium. They were surprised and did not notice the 2 Butts positioned themselves on both sides of Biddig, and Lopin moved behind Biddig but a meter away. Federation Council members, I come here before you to tell you of our decisions. A large hollow of all our decisions appeared floating in front and beside the assembly. I am not here to negotiate or argue about anything. I am not here to ask you for anything. I am here to tell you what my people have decided to do. We found out that you have been eating my people, 3 billion of my people. We do not want to go to war with the Federation, but we have decided we will take all your ships except for small interplanetary ships. Second, we will impose an embargo on all interspecies trade. Nobody travels in or out of your home worlds, or we will destroy them. Third, we would try all the Federation leaders for war crimes against our people in our own courts. To all the Federation leaders, we are giving you a week to settle your affairs. Also, my whole empire, all our people, have put a curse on your people, and we cursed you to lose all your ships that go beyond what we allow you to travel and any other ships from other aliens that enter your space. Then all the Butts disappeared. With that, all our ship commenced transporting all the bands out of their ships and into the nearest planets below. Then we teleported the ships 30 MLY away near a designated planet by area. The data systems were all stalled by the virus. It took us 2 days to do this. The ships tried to fly out, but since they were too slow, they were still within TP range. It was quiet in my bridge where Biddig stood to deliver his decisions to the Federation. Lopin appeared behind him. Lopin, I want you to take 50 ships and make sure to impose the embargo. Remove any unauthorized ship and TP them to the holding planet without their people in them. Biddig said. Miran and her siblings were quiet, but they all held Biddig's shoulders. Let's eat. Biddig finally said. I prepared a feast for all of you. We found out that the whole empire prepared to celebrate the occasion. It was a surprise meant for the Armada. The celebration was for 7 days. The whole empire was up to the task. They cheered their emperor and his family, they cheered the military and space fleet. Nobody knew about the Armada. And that's what we wanted. I never realized that celebrations can be tiring and absolutely exhausting. Rocco simply drank himself to sleep. I made sure I am always with Rocco so I have an excuse to bring him to rest. Sherry, Julio, Soren, and all my top commanders celebrated without let-up. The loonies were in their elements, and ecstatic is an understatement. Sherry asked the loonies to create a practical joke on the Leos by simply getting them drunk until they fall. Right after the parties, Biddick created another clandestine trip to the loonies, this time wanting to establish a permanent presence there. This time his contingent numbered more than 30,000 people. The Butts traveled through the TP system where they saw their people renovating the TP ships. He realized that integration was more than he imagined it to be. He also requested the Armada Council to assign my Armada to stay in the Butt world to train and develop the Butt military. The Armada Council agreed until they decided to let me do something else. He also created a colony just outside the Looney world but near our Armada outpost. This colony is not military but civilian and commercial. By this time, the TAMs and SAMs have lost more of their ships. The TAM ships is just 10% of what they had before, while the SAMs had 15% of their ships compared to the numbers before. They blamed the decrease to a mysterious void of space. The loonies have everything recorded, and Biddick was amused that they never knew about the human Armada in their area. He insisted on joining the Armada in the Bermuda Triangle because he read about the slaves and how the Armada dealt with the slavers, which was close to him.